unprecedented view into one community and their police department. Chief Eric Winstrom here to join us to chat about All Access PD, Grand Rapids, and ID. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to me, Rudy. Appreciate it.
Of course, the first thing that I noticed is that your background is right here in Chicago. Tell us a little bit about getting your start here in the in our city.
Yeah, I did 20 years in Chicago. Started on the south side of the Robert Taylor homes. Was the first beat I patrolled down there. Moved up through the ranks. I left in 2022 as a commander of the Area 5 detectives on the northwest side of the city. So a lot of love for Chicago, especially for the people of Chicago. Beautiful city, but the other side of the lake is beautiful too. And so I feel very blessed to have been able to take over as chief in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about making that transition from leaving our city, going to Grand Rapids, kind of what you're seeing in the community there.
Well, it's tough as an outsider to come in as a chief in a new police department, but we had a very high-profile officer involved shooting just a couple weeks after I started, so I was sort of thrown in the fire. But what I saw here was a police department full of dedicated professionals, and they really stood up. And when we needed them the most, they've come through. We had a surge in violent crime in the summer of 2022. They did an excellent job. And what I see here, which I'd love to see really across the country, is this collaboration between the community and the policing, that we've just recognized that we can't be responsible for producing public safety on our own. And the city of Grand Rapids has stood up and say, let's co-produce safety together. And it's really a wonderful thing we're seeing here.
And obviously you can't plan for anything and what that call is going to be, of what's going to happen or what emergencies are going to happen. I mean, tell us a little bit about the cameras following the team around, and just kind of that impact of having them kind of see the inner workings of this police department.
Yeah, so the show's called All Access, and it really was All Access, where we had cameras throughout the police department. We had the documentary film crew had access to our body-worn cameras and our in-car cameras, but we also had 24/7 film crews traveling with our police officers and on patrol with our detectives. Even here in my office, they were always welcome, fully open anytime. And I thought it was going to be a little bit more difficult for the men and women here to deal with, but they handled it really well. The film crew, if there was any sort of danger and we asked them to step back, they were very accommodating. It was like a fly on the wall sort of approach. And they just, there's no script. They just were there recording what happened. And I think it's going to make for very compelling TV.
I mean, also too, I think that this is anybody's job. I think you kind of go through the motions, you do what you have to do, but you necessarily don't get to see that. You don't have that bird's eye view, that third eye view of what's actually happening. I mean, what's been the reaction of you seeing the footage and the episodes, and of the other officers that are there that are like, wow, you're kind of going through it, but this is actually what I'm doing.
Yeah, you can't be everywhere at once. And I've heard from, even from our 911 operators who see it and say, man, I see it from my point of view, but it's different when you see it on the street to the police officers. And the same thing from police officers that are talking about, I didn't know detectives did this, and detectives talking about how the 911 operators are. So it really is eye-opening. And, policing is one of those professions that a lot of people, anybody with a TV sort of thinks they know quite a bit about policing. The reality is it's way more complex and complicated. So I think this is great. It does give a view that no one's ever had before, and very eye-opening and very interesting.
Wonderful. Well, Chief, thank you so much for your time today. New episodes on Tuesdays on ID, and then the next day on Max.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.